first question on our Q&A. Let's
Yes.
start the bungee jumping
Okay.
right now.
Okay, so it's Dear Leah. There's a woman in our class who orders all of her husband's stuff for him, from socks to underwear to shirts. She also throws out his socks when they have holes. She moves his shoes. She packs his suitcase. And whenever he's basically looking for something, he asks her and she's able to find it. And the other women in the group felt that this woman is mothering her husband, but she said that he doesn't resent it, and on the contrary, he actually likes it. She also mentioned that the woman texted her husband while they were in class asking him about this particular thing, and he actually responded saying, I actually love it. I love acts of service. It's something I appreciate very much. So the question that they have is, number one, is she mothering him or is she helping him? The difference of the two. Is she mothering him and controlling him, or is she actually just helping him? The same way she says she sets the table and makes him dinner. To her, this is just another part of the things that she wants to do for her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to answer each one because it's like three separate little options, or do you want me to go through the three because they're,
I don't know. What do you think?
Answer.
What do you think?
I think maybe answer each one so that this way you
one
can,
at a time. Okay,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? You'll be able.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Otherwise, I might forget them all, and you have to repeat
You
all.
might forget, exactly, right, exactly. We'd be going back, so it gives you like a little bit.
Yeah, so this is fantastic, because it really, shows it totally depends. So there's some husbands who's like, you're buying me underwear, you're getting me T-shirts, I rent it, like, what are you trying to control my life? I get that, okay? So other husbands would be like, oh, off my chart. Like, I wish I got married earlier. Like, this is awesome to have somebody take care of me like that. Awesome. So the way that, from my understanding of the question, they're saying, is it right? Is it right what she's doing, or is it wrong what she's doing?
Right, because they were basically up to the part about control, and they were saying, "Oh, this is you're just controlling him," and she said,
"Oh, the
no,
chapter
I'm
on control."
Being a wife.
Yeah,
I'm being a wife. The same way I make him dinner, I would never expect him to make dinner. The same way I set up the table for him. I don't say to him, "You go set the table." I order his socks, and I when he needs help finding something, I help it for him. I help him find it.
Okay, ladies. Ladies, do you want a bulletproof, guaranteed way to tell if something you're doing is controlling or helpful? Guaranteed.
Yes.
Bulletproof, yes. Okay? Here it is. If there is a teeny weeny eensy beensy bit of resentment in the interaction, you know it's controlling. That's it. Zehu, that's it. That's all you need to think about. If there is resentment present, so if your husband is driving down the road and you're like, take a left. And he's like, I knew that. I knew that I was supposed to take a left. Thank you. That is probably on a scale from 1 to 10 of resentment. He's probably at a 3 or a 4. If you're sitting there and you say, don't take the blue trash bags, take the yellow trash bags. Resentment of a 10 or a 9 or whatever. So if there's any bit, if it's up to a 1 of resentment, it means it's controlling. If you know, and this takes, a little bit of insight, you may not have this radar to see, is my husband resenting this or not? Something maybe good idea to start developing if you can, okay? We can work on so many things at once, but at least as long as it's sort of, there's a difference between information and insight. When you have an information, it's like it just weighs you down. There's just so much information. When you have insight, it's like it plugs into the back of your brain, and right when you need it, it's there, okay? So we're giving insights. These aren't things you need to take on immediately and make yourself crazy and make yourself stressed out about, okay? But it's just to be an awareness. So you may not be able to tell whether your husband's feeling resentful on how you're presenting what you're saying, but start to develop that measuring yardstick or whatever. But here's the situation. When you, in this case, she's buying him underwear and socks and whatever else it is that you said she was buying for him and providing it for him, just like she does the table for him. It's great. Actually, she can come to my house and buy me underwear and socks. I would like that. But the thing is, first of all, she had the gut feeling that he liked it, and second, and that his acts of service or whatever, he liked that or whatever. She asked him, and he likes it. End of story. That's how you know. What is the resentment present in the conversation or not? And good on you. She's doing great. Okay, good. What's the next point?
Okay, good. So, and that you actually answered the third part of it, which was basically asking if it's working for them. Should they continue it, and is it really her underlyingly trying to control him?
Yes,
So you
no,
basically
it's
answered
working,
that with
but
the
the way
same
that
thing.
you can tell whether it's working or it's not working is if resentment's present. That's it. And if people
Okay,
don't know
perfect.
exactly what resentment is, how do you explain how do you explain resentment?
Well, when you feel like she really wants to do it, she feels really good about.
No,
She
I'm
feels
saying on
good about
his
everything.
end. Wait, hold on. There was
Oh, on
somebody in the
his
room
end.
who was going to answer. When he feels resentment, how would you describe that?
Ah.
Hold on. Wait, there's somebody, a live audience.
Describe resentment. I think all
I mean, someone
women
may
and,
not understand what resentment means. Anger. It's not anger.
It's
kind of like
it's a bad feeling that somebody's trying to be
Annoying?
controlling and annoying, but it's an ugly feeling.
yeah, it's a
That
feeling.
it's not a very relationship kind of
It's
feeling
not
that
a
we should be
relationship
having.
building.
Yeah.
It's not a relationship building quality. Resentment is like if someone were to say to me, you know, how do you explain resentment? I mean, maybe it's self-explained, huh? You want somebody to suffer, but you drink the poison. That's interesting. That's good. So, yeah, it's like I guess it's the control E. It's feeling controlled. I guess is what causes that uncomfortable,
It's
unpleasant.
according to Leah, according to the dictionary,
She's
it's
awesome.
bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly.
Oh, say that again.
Resentment
Wait,
and
say it
being
again. Say it
demoted.
again. I missed the first
Bitter,
part.
bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly, being demoted. Resentment at being like it's dissatisfaction, being disgruntled, discontentment, bitterness.
Wow.
Those are all synonyms of it.
Wow. Perfect.
And that would be, if he felt like she was trying to be his mother, he would resent it. He would feel, I want a wife, not a mother. So it's
fantastic. What was number 2? You had.
Okay, number 2, yes. Number 2 is that one of the reasons that they were a little bit not sure if it was just so good is because she said that in appreciation, she struggles with getting appreciated from her husband. She feels that the B compliments really don't do it for her, and she really doesn't like having to draw out the appreciation from him. So she says when she does all these things for her husband, it's the one time where she doesn't have to solicit appreciation. He's so appreciative, and she feels so good about it that she feels I want to keep doing it.
She is correct about she's correct about that. That she. That is that level of appreciation for little, the things that she's doing for him, little, big, whatever they are, is very valuable to her own sense of feeling fulfilled. But I would ask her if you have a way of emailing this facilitator or the class, this group, whoever it's reporting back to, who asked this question, if you have a way to get back to her and say that Leah wanted to really, really encourage her again to try the B- compliments, the B- appreciation, because she may not have tried it long enough. She might have just been, like, why do I have to do this? There's so much anger women feel at having to be, like, we have to, manage the household, manage this, manage our life, manage our emotions, manage how they feel, manage what we are supposed to be doing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Leah, you're telling me I also have to manage the and am responsible for the appreciation he gives me? Like, give me a break. Like, really? And I'm really sorry to be the one to break this news to you. But the good news is, on the other side of this is a level of contentment that you may never have ever felt in your whole life. This is a guarantee.
Right.
This is this is all sourced. This isn't like Leah Richheimer coming up with a great idea. So try it, and if it fails and the B- compliment isn't doing, try it again. Talk yourself into it. Work on yourself to be able to get that appreciation, because it's yes, it's fine. She keeps doing these things for her. I don't want her to have a resentment from having to, this is what I have to do to get appreciated. Like, I guess we all have to sort of go that road, because we have to do work to get our appreciation. Okay, good. Next question. Or did we finish that one? Did we get
Yes, you answered it completely.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, so now we have actually a question I had a different question, but a question that's coming through our Facebook. A viewer says, and one of the areas that you spoke about, you said that in order to respect our husband, we need to never correct him. And she wanted to know, are you saying that having respect for our husband means never, ever correcting your husband, even when he's wrong? Like, he's 100% wrong.
Yeah, and we'll get to your question right after this one, okay? You'll be next. Okay, sorry, I forgot. I had told her she could right after that first question.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I forgot. Okay, so no, we'll take this. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. We appreciate it. So the question is, should a woman never, ever correct her husband? And the answer, so strap on your seatbelts and hear me. Don't hang up or don't click off after I say this answer, because I'm going to explain it afterwards. But the answer is never, not ever, never correct your husband. Okay, now I'll explain. First of all, in public, that is always the case. Never correct your husband, because not only will he be embarrassed by what you told him that what he did wrong, like, oh, that's not how you say psychiatrist. It's I don't know, what's a word that somebody mispronounces. My brain's blanking. But anyway, what? You going to tell me? No? Oh, another word. Okay. So, you didn't pronounce, that's not how you pronounce forecast. It's whatever, something. So he mispronounces it and you correct him. So not only is he embarrassed by what you corrected him, but he's also now got the added burden of having everybody who is present in the room knowing that his wife does not look up to him or respect him or feel good about him or thinks he's an idiot or whatever, all these millions of things. So it's so horribly embarrassing and devastating. Should he grow up and be a man and be, come on, what is he, a baby? Maybe. But if you put the shoe on the other foot and your husband, if you said something like, oh, yeah, well, we were up in Canada and Europe. And you're like, Canada is not in Europe. Even though, okay, should you grow up or was that not nice? I mean, you answer the question yourself. I mean, it's not nice. Nobody wants to be corrected in public, even if it's, very esoteric, scientific, little picayune thing that's showing off how brilliant you are, but then he's tweaking it one. Nobody wants to be upschlugged. How do you translate upschlugged? One-offed, put down, like nobody does. So not only are you putting him down on the thing, but now he feels like everybody in the room knows that his wife does not look up to him, which is very hard on a man's ego. So the question about never ever correcting is true. Now, we know from our sources that a woman was born with Bina Yasera, which is a woman's intuition. Very powerful. Perhaps some of the most powerful wisdom on the planet Earth, floating around the earth or coming to us from Siyata Dishmaya. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know where it comes from, but it's in the Bria, it's in the world, and we make use of that. Maybe it's inside of us. I should ask that question. It's very interesting. But anyway, we have this wisdom within us. So if our husband says, "Oh, we should walk across town at noon on Shabbos. We're going to go visit friends. It's only 4 miles," and you're like, "Wait a minute. Leah told me I can't correct him. What do I do now?" Like, it's going to be 90 degrees out. We're all going to suffer. We're not going to be able to take waters with us. This is a dumb idea. What do you do? Correct is when you're correcting somebody, it is chastising them or putting them down. So in this situation, you don't correct them, but there's nothing wrong with giving your opinion. In fact, you're obligated. Rav Asher Weiss gives over, you're obligated to give your opinion. A good wife gives her husband her thoughts on the matter. It's how she does it that makes all the difference. Is she going to charm him? Is she going to say, "Oh, really? You think we ought to walk on the other side at noon? It's going to be a little hot. What do you think? Is it possible it'll be too hot for us? What do you think about we won't be able to take waters with us?" And you're giving him information. You're giving him input. There's a big difference between saying, "Oh, you're walking in the airport with your husband, and gate 47 is that way," and he goes walking this way. "Excuse me, gate 47 is over here. Where are you going?" That's called correcting. That's called rude. That's called not nice. That's called pushing your husband away and not drawing him close. Okay. Another way of saying it is, "Oh, is it possible you meant to go to 47 over this direction?" Like, how beautiful is that? It's not you're being subservient to your husband, because guess what? It'd be wonderful if your husband treated you that way as well. Maybe he'll get there one day or whatever. But for you to start being that person, I have a friend, she has a thing, be the change that you want to see in the world, right? So correction, the answer to the question is never correct. Can you cajole? Can you charm? Can you, give input? Absolutely, and you must. Correct? We don't do. Did that answer it, Sarit?
Yeah. Wow. Yes.
You're so
Yes,
cute. Okay,
very much
very
on
good.
the mark,
We are
yeah.
going to our studio audience here for a question, and the mic is yours. You're on.
Well, this is somewhat related to the previous question.
Okay.
So let's say your husband does things that upset you, and when you try to talk about it, he gets extremely defensive and tries to brush off the subject and turn it around that, oh, you're just chastising me, which is something you're aware is an issue he has a lot of baggage with from the past.
Chastising, you mean, in other words, he's not taking seriously what you're saying. He's just feeling like you're just wagging your finger mad at me?
No, it's like anything you say where you're bringing up a problem or something you're not happy about, he just hears it as chastising. You're just
putting him down, you mean?
like rather than talking about it, because it's something he has a lot of baggage about from the past.
Right. So what have you tried so far?
Well, trying to
convince him that you're not chastising.
Well, yeah. Obviously, you say that, but I will try to make a point to think the issue through and wait until he's in a mood where he may be more receptive. But sometimes it's hard to wait, and it's a problem because sometimes there really are things and.
So have you tried an approach like saying, sometimes, like right now, I have an issue that I want to, discuss with you. It's, it's a kind of a little bit of a heavy issue. I don't want you to get defensive or feel badly about it, but it's something that needs to be discussed between us. How can I do it that doesn't make you feel like I'm chastising you?
Yeah, that's good.
That might work. What would he say? Would he be likely to say it to that? Would he be saying it?
Yeah, it depends on the mood he's in,
Well fed, well rested.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because sometimes you are upset and it's hard to just, wait. Sometimes it's like there's a time pressure involved. Mm-hmm. So it's not so easy.
This technique would probably be best. And let's say in the course of a month, there's 4 issues like this. 4 things that need to be handled. He's not doing something. He's disappointing you in something. You need something from him. Whatever it is, there's an issue that needs to be discussed. And it happens, let's say, 4 times a month. Once a week, let's say. So, on the times when he's well-fed, well-rested, whatever, and there's no time, I would start with an issue in broaching this whole thing, an issue that isn't so, then what you do is you broach the whole thing, and now you want to pave new ground. Do you ever see, like, you're on the freeway and they're like making a new freeway, and they like put all this gravel and then they put all that blocky stuff, whatever, and then that big huge machine rolls it out, and you're making this gorgeous new road, and it smells weird, but it looks really cool. Okay, it's kind of like you want to lay out gravel and lay out that black gooey stuff or whatever. What is that black gooey stuff? What is that?
Tar.
Asphalt? Tar, yeah, because it smells like tar. So, and then, you want to take the roller and roll it out. You want to make this beautiful new pathway you can run. Because you've been walking down this road here, and you've been bumping over the rocks and hitting into the potholes, and, there's a tree branch over it, and you've been, anytime you go down this road, it's rocky. So you want a new road. So the best way to create a new road is to get all the cars off the street, to not have like urgent, you need to get somewhere very quickly or whatever, right? So now you are having, hello. Are we still the lady stock show? Okay, here we go. Wait a second. Wait, I can do it. Here we go. Can you? No, it's okay. I got it. Because I don't want. No, on the shelf. There we go. Okay, is this better? Can you still see it?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. See, it's live. How about that? Okay, there we go. This is like the old Ed Sullivan show or whatever, if anybody knows what that is. Millennials, look it up. Yeah, you could ever Google Ed Sullivan. Anyway, okay. He was actually before my time, but whatever. I did hear about him. So what was I going to say? Oh, so the thing is that when the first time you go up against it, you want to pave the road. If you need to come in, you can come sit over here. You can go ahead and if you stay to that side, you'll be off camera. What was I going to say? This is very interrupty, but oh well, there's life. Okay, so you want to pave this new street. So when you're going, and the very first time you're talking to him, you're saying, something like that, and you want to develop a communication and a rapport with your husband on how to handle complicated things. There's no reason. You know what the definition of insanity is banging your head against the wall 1,000 times and expecting different results. Like, ow, ow, it always hurts. Why? So you want to now, this is an issue. This is how he reacts. How defensive he gets. That he just has like you said, he's got baggage about being chastised and put down and whatever from his parents, from, prior life, prior relationships. Who knows where he got these things? He's got that. So in a soft manner, you can say, listen, I get defensive too. When you bring something like this up to me, I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. I don't, whatever. And my first reaction is defensiveness. And I would like to work on that. I'd like to grow in that area. And I hope you also want to grow in that area. This way I can really say what's on my heart. I want to share my heart with you. You're my husband. You're my best friend. I love you. I want to be with you for eternity. And by the way, whether you want to be with your husband for eternity or not, you will be with your husband for eternity. So you better get the get the relationship good and tight, because this is the work we're doing here. And then when you're with him for eternity, you can have eternal joy instead of eternal friction. So we're building something. And you want to be able to communicate with him in a way that you can really, really deeply connect. So for this answer to this question that you have is, number one is to have a preliminary conversation with him. And while you're talking to him, and you're saying, and he says, oh, you say, listen, how can I have it so you don't feel chastised? So now you say, I just, it really upsets me. I told you several times to please park your car on the other side of the street, because waiting till the tickets come at 12 o'clock. I spend my every Tuesday morning, I'm stressed out because you just didn't move the car to the other side of the street. And, and then he's going like this. Well, yeah. And then you can say to him, are you feeling chastised yet? Is this starting to feel like you're being chastised? Because if it did, let me take it back. How do I reword this? Teach me how to make you happy. Imagine hearing that. Imagine what he would do. Teach me how to make you happy. Is there any words? We got some guys in the room. Your wife says this to you? Teach me how to make you happy. I mean, is there anything that would melt your heart faster than that? So as you're going through that very first preliminary conversation with this, do it in a way that you recognize you're building for the future. And you're learning how to walk. You've been walking down this messy street. You want to walk down this street. Build this one. Take it slowly. Keep getting feedback. It's very interesting. This guy was doing, was giving a monologue. And I said, can I just, a little point here, great job, but can I interject one little point? Stop every few minutes in your conversation and say, you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Something. Get feedback. So while you're doing this, get feedback. Am I doing it okay so far? Am I doing it too much, too harshly? Is my tone okay? Am I saying anything that's really upsetting you? How could I say it better? Would it be better if I wrote this to you in a letter or an email or, texted it to you? How can I make you happy, dear? I really, I need to get this off myself. I have to get this off my chest. We need to solve it. We need to figure it out. How? I just want to know how. I want to know how without arguing, without either of us crying or feeling, or you being upset for the rest of the night. I don't want to. I need to talk and tell you this. I don't want distance between us. Gosh. I mean, it's not my fault that you parked the car on the wrong side of the street, right? We have to solve our problems. And I get it when you feel chastised, and that's from your history or it's from me. I will take full responsibility. I'm the one maybe who makes you feel chastised. I need to learn how to set my tone so that you can hear me. Make sense, dear? Like that. Did that answer it? Want to give it a try? Yeah, okay. Then we got a yes. She's nodding. You can't. They can't see on the camera. Yeah, she's going like. Yeah. Love it.
This is small potatoes, but it's not. Okay. I am guilty of correcting my husband when he drives, and I know I'm guilty, and I've tried to stop over the years, and it's instinctive, and I can't stop. In fact, my husband wanted to take me out for my birthday and told me to get blinders, my eye blindfolds, and I wouldn't do it. I said, "Well, who's going to teach you how to drive if I have my eyes covered?" So, I brought this down to a joke, and I call myself the latest app. And this app is, I'm able to tell him how fast he's going, and when a car is behind him too fast, when a car is on the side of him too fast, and so I became the latest, most advanced app.
You mean, in other words, you're calling that because you're calling it on yourself.
I'm calling it on myself to bring humor into it because it's so instinctual that it's hard for me to stop.
Wow. So the latest. So first of all, I love what you've done with it so far. It's like gorgeous. You've taken this potentially tension building, unpleasant building, bad, pulling apart, pushing him away, making him feel little, belittling him, whatever. You've taken that and you've said, I get it. I'm the problem.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Now I'm going to give you, you want the supercharged version of this? The supersize me version of?
Yes.
Okay. So we covered this before. So we had a whole class on it. And everybody, I think we had 20 women in the room. Everybody was screaming at the same time because you are not alone. Okay. There's other apps.
Oh, the sign is going to come down.
Oh, okay. Well, do we know it's the ladies' talk show? Or we don't? Okay. It's going to keep coming. All right. I guess we'll try what we can do. Okay, there we go. Very professional here. Okay, so we actually have a heavy one, but I thought it wouldn't even stay up. Okay, so here's the on steroids version of what you're doing. This actually might work. It might actually knock it out for you. So I'll actually give you a little bit of floor to stand on before I tell you it. So the floor to stand on is, does your husband ever drive without you in the car? And he gets there, right?
I worry about it.
He gets there. Yeah. Okay? So whether you open your mouth or you didn't open your mouth in the car, would he still get there?
He would get there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. He would.
In a lot better shape than if I were
right.
here.
Because also, if you're driving, right, and someone says, "There's a cop there," you're like this. Now, are you more or less likely to drive well?
That's it.
Less likely.
Less likely
they
to
don't
drive
know.
well
You're,
if
she's not in your head,
somebody
right?
points it out to me every moment.
Right. If you're whatever, you're less likely to drive well, and your esteem is shot. So you don't have, people whose mothers are, oh, he's so wonderful, and whatever. And you're like, ah. Meanwhile, the kid happens to be pretty self-confident and he can accomplish more because the mother's done that. Now, I think in our society, look, we're not going to a whole educational route here, but our whole society we've been puffed up so much that then they get out to a real world and they're like, oh, I'm not as wonderful as I thought. And then their esteem has a problem. So I'm not saying that guarantee that's the way to go, but I'm just saying following that logic, a husband who you're constantly putting down, he thinks he probably, if he had to report, if someone secretly asked him, are you a good driver or a bad driver, he'd say, he would judge by hearing your voice in his ear. He'd say, I'm pretty bad. Who knows what he'd say? The more confidence he has in his driving, the the better chances he has of not getting in an accident. Just the way. Just saying. Okay, just something to think about. Yeah. Goodbye. Okay, that was it.
He's a great driver. He's a wonderful driver. I just imagine that he doesn't see everything around him, but I do.
Right, but if he doesn't see it, he still would get there.
Yeah.
And the answer is the answer to the question, are you right and he is wrong? The answer is you are right. Now, the answer, is there peace in the car or not? The answer is no. There's no peace in the car. So, but here's the key. Your job, your homework, and this is for anybody who wants to take this on because it's a killer and it works. Your job is to give your husband 3 compliments on his driving. So I gave this example. I thought it was last week. I can't remember. Did I give about the driving? The car?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and he's going like this. And you can either, here's your husband. There's the car, and he's going, and he's cut the thing. You can either say, I can't believe how close you came to that car, blah, 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 blah. Or you can say, great move. Which one's going to build him into a better driver? The great move. The great move. Because next time he'll be more careful. When someone thinks highly of you, you live up to their high expectations. So it's something to try, just to try. But your thing of the app is very cute as well. And this is a growth process. This is not a thing to beat yourself up about the way you do it. It's a thing to say, okay, what's the next level I want to get to? Where do I want to be? Because the whole thing about the driving thing is about control. And we think that we're going to be happier when we have control. Like if we had control and our husband just did everything the way we think it should be done, which is obviously the superior way. Thank you. Okay. If he did those things, if we had control, the life would be better. And it's not true. We've been sold that bill of goods. The whole media, the whole Western society thinks control is king. And it really isn't. There's a power in being an influencer that it far succeeds the joy, the contentment, and just the pleasure of life. You don't have to, it's like you have a rose and the rose is sitting there and you're waiting for it to bloom so you can smell it. You rip the rose open and you smell it. No, there's a natural beauty to things unfolding, and having control isn't the be all. We'll cover that more in future classes. Okay, last question, Sarit, what's on?
Okay, so the last question that was from
Great
our
question,
email.
by the way.
Okay, from our email was, let's say your husband very rarely initiates making plans for date nights and or Sunday outings and typically wants to spend the time working or going to the gym. What do you do?
So he wants more time by himself and less time with you.
You're right. Exactly. That's kind of the underlying message there.
Right. Oh, I wished it wasn't by email because I have questions for her. Like what?
So by the way, we're really at like about 2-3 minutes before class is over, so we can actually, it's your choice, but I guess you can answer to an extent, and then we can actually have this individual, and I can email them as well to come on
for
to
next
another
time.
show and call
Okay,
us.
let me give an answer, and maybe we'll expound it if she's able to do that. So
Okay.
that's great. And
Okay.
I see you have like 9 questions here. We only got through a few. I don't know.
Yeah.
and you
but
we
they
have
were great
another-
ones. They were great questions. So
They
I
are
think it's,
great questions today.
We'll have to do another one.
Yeah,
another
very
Q&A.
good. Also, we have another studio audience question, but hold on. Let me just quickly answer this one. This one is, I've already forgotten the question.
The initiating.
Oh,
the
yeah,
husband
she
is
wants to
not
spend, yeah.
initiating the thing.
So I would take a look at a couple of things. It could be that he has a history or a tough time connecting with people, with her. So it could be him. It could be he might need therapy to help bond better with her. That could be, or it could be if they're, I don't know if they're married 2 years or 20 years. If it's 2 years, he just may not realize that your habits of being a single guy those days are over. It's now you got to spend time with your wife, and if you want to go to the gym, try and get your wife to the gym with you or whatever. Not that you can't go do things yourself, but a lot less. It's just not nice. If your wife was always disappearing and coming and going and coming and not paying attention to you, the relationship would pay for it. So if they're married 20 years and he's doing that, he might be taking her for granted, and she might need to work on, they might need to set date nights and whatever. So really, there's a lot of circumstances here that could be it. It could be that she henpecks him, that he walks in the door and she says, "Oh, can you please? You didn't change the light bulb," and I don't know. I don't want to blame her on whatever, but there's things also that could be driving him to not want to be with her. Stemming from him or stemming from her. It could be she's harsh with him. It could be she puts him down. It could be that she criticizes his driving. Joking. Joking. She didn't laugh too hard. You heard what I said? Okay. All right. Okay. I don't want to be insulting, but whatever. No, but who knows what the dynamics are in that relationship? But there certainly are a million things she could do. One is doing introspection on herself and seeing what action she can take to make him want to be with her. And I know your husband. I know he loves to be. When he stopped me in the thing and he said unbelievable, things about his wife. I said, "Your wife is unbelievable." I ran into him, and he's like, "Isn't she though?" It was just the cutest answer, the cutest. So I know he loves being there. So I hope that was okay. But anyway, the thing is, she, do introspection on herself, and also to end up, to look at what are the factors that affect his not wanting to be at home and work on the logistics of it. Would it be easier if she bought a bike? If she's going to the gym and spending $7,000 or whatever it is now, I know it's like 700. I don't know what it is for an annual membership at a gym. If you buy the equipment at home, it's a good closet, good place to hang your coats and suits and everything like that. That's what most of these things are. Stationary bikes are usually stationary. No, but whatever, they're not in movement. But anyway, the thing is that if she were to analyze all those things and figure it out, there are definitely things she can do. So maybe we'll get her on the line and figure out more details and help her more. Meanwhile, let's take your question. Then we got to end for the show for today. We did start a little bit late, so I'm hoping that helps us have a couple of minutes here. Go ahead.
So back to the not correcting your husband issue. How do you not correct him when you see that he's saying things off the top of his head without really thinking it through much at all? And what he's saying is a very bad idea or something that's really not going to work out well.
That's very good. Are you talking about in public or in private?
In private.
In private. Okay, so in public, you just go, "Yes, dear, yes, let's go take the Titanic. I think that's a great idea. I love that ship. Titanic, what a pleasant name." Okay? So in public, that's what you would say. In private, when he says his thing, and you know your husband. We know our husbands better than anybody, sometimes better than they know themselves. So if you know your husband, and he's just talking off his head, and he's blah, 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 and the chances of that it coming to fruition and being actualized, there's a lot of steps that it would take to have that actually happen. I wouldn't go there right now. I would say, let's discuss it later. Because that after he eats dinner, he's gonna think, what, or he's gonna drop it, or he's gonna forget it. Now, if he's confronting and saying, "Here's what we're doing. Sunday, we're waking up at 5 a.m. We're driving up to the top of the mountain. We're going on a hike. We're going," and you're like, "Are you out of your mind? Like, forget about even if I was ready to go and had all the food ready. You wouldn't be ready to go. That's not your cup of tea. You don't like hiking. What do you think? Whatever it is. Do you want to give an example of what you?" Okay, well, we'll stick with that one. So you're hiking, whatever. So, and then he starts, he gets off, he tells you this, and then you go and you see he's collecting his sneakers and his, his compass and his whatever else, it is his, thing to go on this big hike. And you're like, OMG, like this is getting worse and worse and worse. And where's this guy going with this, right? So time has a magical way of bringing a person's mind back to truth. For sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of times, if you let things unfold naturally, they'll unfold, and you'll see how it goes. There's no sense that at the moment you have to say, "Oh, that's a bad idea," and then he gets defensive, then he feels chastised, that he, whatever it is. Just have a little patience with it. Would that work?
Sometimes, but not necessarily always.
Can you give an example of when it wouldn't work?
Let's say there's a weekend coming up and trying to make plans involving a lot of different people, and he's has a preference to always doing such and such, and it's not going to work given all the logistics and the people and what's involved, but he can only think that option.
Mm-hmm.
And so the odds are it's going to end up that plans are not going to happen. Like you kind of see that it's going to end up where the people are not going to
apart.
Well, it's not going to work for all the some of the people may come, but you'll miss out, everybody getting together, which was really
What you had in
the
mind.
goal. Like the goal
Right.
is for everybody to be together. And
I see. So, so he's just stuck on an idea, and it's a bad one. Yeah. Okay. What is it? Oh. Oh, are we okay? So, yeah, that I hear that. So there's a couple of things. One is to maybe let it fail a few times, and then on the third time or the fourth time, say, the social gathering of people. I really, have a history of being great at that. I have, had a lot of successes or whatever. And the last few times it really hasn't worked, and I think it's because we tried to do that. We don't say you, even though it is you. We tried to do this and we tried to do that, and it didn't really work out so great. Maybe let me handle it this time. That could be one way to do it. Again, if you've got a one-shot deal and it's somebody's wedding, and you don't have 3 weddings to get it wrong, then you might say, listen, I want to talk to you about something. I don't want you to get defensive about it. I feel like as soon as I open my mouth, it's an issue. I have an opinion on something. How can I get my opinion over to you in a way that doesn't make you feel like I'm bossing you around or trying to control you? My opinion is that we should, instead of inviting the people this way or having it the way you've set it up in your mind, I think we should do it this way. I think it's got a better shot. But I don't know how to give my thoughts without, it seems like it's got to be one way or the other. How should I be able to express my opinion in a way that doesn't make you feel like I'm, trying to take control of the situation? Just to be honest with them, because, again, we have Bini Yasera. We have that special intuition and that wisdom about, taking a lot of data and processing it well and coming out with something that is a great solution. And it would be a tragedy if women had all this great, brainy, fantastic ideas and concepts and logistic ways to handle things, and then we didn't give that to our husband. It's like robbing us of our power and robbing our as a family unit from being able to do the best thing that we need to. But the whole message, and I think the whole class can be titled as "How You Say It Makes All the Difference." And that's the take-home message for the day. So the homework for this week is to say something to your husband in a, when it's about to come out of your mouth, like, no, you need to take a left, or watch out for that car. Have it come out of your mouth of, I suppose you saw that car, dear, or better yet, zip, but say something to your husband this week in as kindly a way as possible and see what the results are. That's the homework. Okay, this is the Ladies Talk Show. I'm your host, Leah Richheimer. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.